Welcome to the Mojo Market Report. Here's your hosts, Dave Sturchio and Chris Gueci.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Mojo Market Report. Dave Sturchio alongside Chris Gueci. We hope you guys are doing well out there. We hope you guys find yourselves not as tired as us because the fact that there was 2 games last night, we'll get into it. But first and foremost, we want to thank everybody for all the positive response we had yesterday. Very cool situation to see all the tweets. I mean, their social medias were absolutely on fire.
I wasn't
yesterday.
ready. I wasn't ready, ladies and
either.
gentlemen. But thank you to everybody with the kind words. What a treat to be a part of such a cool thing. Seeing it on Yahoo Finance, just all the socials. Chad Ochocinco.
Oh, that was for me. That was
the chain
it.
smokers.
The chain smokers. I was like, this is a little bigger than I thought was going to happen.
Very cool to be a part of the entire launch. Congratulations to the people over at Mojo. Look, this product, it's
people are talking. The buzz is real. The hype has been real, and now you're able to actually do it. And I got people in my family sending me screenshots. This is what I'm doing.
They're gifting multipliers out here.
And guess who cashed in on the gifts? I was like, you know what? No, I understand. I create content for Mojo, but that doesn't mean I can't win a couple shekels here and there.
There's some benefits to working with Mojo, and that is we got the. What was it? The Amazon gift card? Right?
I haven't spent that yet.
You haven't spent your Amazon gift card, and now you got multipliers. You lost all your money on Trey Lance, but you got it back.
I did not do that. I cashed out the right way. So anyway, we do have ourselves a loaded show today because of the fact that we have 2 football games to talk about. But again, once again, Dave Sturchio, Chris Gueci, right here at Chop Studios, doing our thing. Monday Night Football. I want to say it delivered, but it kind of didn't. But if you're playing the market in Mojo, then yes. If you played your cards right and took some of our advice from yesterday, then yeah. Well, maybe not so much Jalen Reagor because that was just...
He didn't do anything.
You know what he did? He got booed every time he went back for a punt. They serenaded him with the Boo Birds of Philadelphia. But first I start with the Tennessee game, which obviously it got away from the Tennessee Titans. Somebody said the Titans were going to play good defense. Not sure who that was or anything like that. And I'm not going to point fingers or anything like that of who thought the Titans would match up and stack up well with the Buffalo Bills at home.
Look, I thought there was a little bit of a week 1 overreaction because the Titans played bad against the Giants and the Bills went on the road and beat the Super Bowl champion, defending Super Bowl champion. So I thought maybe there would have been a little bit of an overreaction. I just didn't think they were going to cover the 10.
Yeah, well, that's
they covered 80, apparently. It wasn't a good situation.
It was a bad situation. Derrick Henry couldn't get going. I did say yesterday when we were talking about, some kind of predictions, and I talked about Kenny Pickett's stock was starting to rise because of the play of Mitch Trubisky. I said this yesterday. I'm not an expert by any stretch, not yet at least. But I will say that I said maybe want to sprinkle a little bit on Malik Willis just in case this game goes sideways for Tannehill. And sure enough, not only does it go sideways for Tannehill, Malik Willis gets in the game.
Yeah, if you have a little bit of patience on basically any of the quarterbacks that were drafted in the top 3 or 4 rounds, the team that drafted them is going to eventually give them an opportunity. When they get that opportunity, they're going to go up a little bit. So if you want to be patient, I feel like that's a decent long-term play on any of those guys. But they have to pan out for it to actually pay dividends long-term. But if you do want to, Malik Willis, he is going to get a start eventually this season. So.
It depends on this Titans team goes, but all of a sudden, I look, it's 2 weeks in. We can't get too crazy, but when I look at the Titans, I'm like, that doesn't even look like a team that can get out of the South.
It's a very different team than it was last year. They're a lot younger on offense, and they have Ryan Tannehill, who I spoke about a little bit yesterday on the show.
You did.
Very, very briefly, I tried to compare Daniel Jones to a Ryan Tannehill. Ryan Tannehill it might not be, the window may have closed on the Ryan Tannehill era in Tennessee, I'll say that.
It's closing, at the very least. It's not closed.
Yeah, well, fair enough.
Well,
0-2, we talked about 0-2 teams don't make the postseason. It's very, very rare. I think there's been 400 0-2 starts over the last however many years, and only 11 made it.
Yeah, well, once upon a time, the 1993 Dallas Cowboys went 0-2 and won the Super Bowl. So, look, it happens, all right? It's not saying it's a good percentage that it happens, but it happens. But the Titans get rolled on. They got some struggles. Switching over to Philadelphia, they rolled. Can anybody, for the love of God, tell Kirk Cousins to just take a seat during primetime games. Just put in somebody else. Like, this guy cannot play in prime time. And it's really upsetting because he's a nice guy. He's a likable dude. You like that? He did not like that.
Green 81. Don't get me started on Kirk Cousins. Where was this Kirk Cousins week 1? Where was that Kirk Cousins in week 1?
Yeah, that was
He shows
rough.
up on Monday Night Football. Can't guarantee. What's he, 2-9?
3 interceptions.
2-9 in
Was it
prime
3
time?
interceptions? But if not, it was at least 2. I'm pretty sure it was 3. And they were all in the red zone. So they get all the way down there. They do the work. And then all of a sudden, Kirk Cousins just forgets how to play football. It's very bad. And I don't even have to bring up Kirk Cousins stock because he's just not somebody you're investing in at all. I mean, I'm not touching Kirk Cousins with a 10-foot ball. I'm just not doing it.
Yeah, I was looking at Kirk Cousins' future projections, and I don't think, because of the way his contracts are set up, none of the teams that have, well, the Vikings haven't believed in him long term at any point. It's always like a 2-year fully guaranteed, 2 years fully guaranteed. So they're not investing in him in the long term, and it shows when you look at his future projection earnings.
That's a great point. Like, if the Vikings aren't investing in him long term, neither should you at Mojo.
I feel like the
You did
success
not
that
do
he's
it.
had, a lot of people talk about Kirk Cousins being one of the most overrated quarterbacks. And honestly, Tannehill's been in that conversation of late.
True.
And rightfully so. But he's won playoff games. Tannehill's made deep playoff runs.
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins is not. I feel like Kirk Cousins is the sum of all the parts around him in Minnesota, especially right now. But speaking of the parts around him in Minnesota, Darius Slay shut down Justin Jefferson
Big play
yesterday.
Slay, but then Slay got hurt. So you got to be careful for a little bit of a foot injury ski as they move on in their season. But yeah, look, there was clamps on Justin Jefferson. A lot of these primo wide receivers, this week got clamped down, and sometimes you chirp, and some
So
things
question,
don't happen.
Pre-game gritty. Did you see Adam
God.
Thielen's attempt at the gritty? Who has the better gritty? Is
I wanna
is it
say-
Gesicki or is it Thielen?
There's a question that Sporty Jordy should at least throw to the masses out there on social media.
I'm saying it's
who's got the better gritty?
hands down Adam Thielen,
Oh,
and it's
100%.
not even close. But he has the inventor, or I wouldn't call him the inventor, but one of the originators of the gritty, at least in the league.
Right. So if you're
teaching him, so it's
right,
only,
if you're gonna learn
it's
from
only fair.
somebody, learn from the guy who started it all. But anyway, yeah, we got a loaded show today. Obviously, Monday Night Football comes and goes. We do want to talk, obviously, top movers as we get in there. We also want to dive into the 100 Club. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a little bit.
Top
Now,
movers.
it's time to do what we do on the daily, basically, and that's talk about the top movers of this game. And as we move on into Dawson Knox, okay, is the first guy we want to talk about because, boy, oh boy, you want to talk about somebody who's very consistent, and he wasn't like the top dog from last night, but there's something to be said about Dawson Knox. And again, maybe I'm using my Cowboys, history. But he reminds me of a lot like Jason Witten. Like, reliable, there all the time, third down, where you looking, underneath, who knows, you know what I mean? Like, but every time, he's there. So Dawson Knox last night, quiet, but everybody was quiet because the next guy we'll talk about in a second, everybody's quiet compared to the next guy. But Dawson Knox goes for 4 catches for 41 yards. That's it. Like, it wasn't much, right? He's sitting there. He's a constant producer. I don't know. I feel like Josh Allen, for every good quarterback in the NFL, they have to have their tight end. Dawson Knox is solidified himself as that.
It's a solid thing when you see a guy who only had a pedestrian 4 catches for 40 yards and he still moved up.
Right, exactly.
The Bills invested in him long term right before the start of the season, and that's a good thing for any potential Dawson Knox investors. I think that Dawson Knox's career trajectory may be a little bit lofty to compare him to a Jason Witten, but he is a touchdown machine.
Right, that too.
He's a touchdown machine, and they use him deep in the red zone constantly. Last year, his red zone targets, I think it was 25% of all the targets he saw were in the red zone. So a guy like Dawson Knox, they invested in him. I don't know how you watch this Buffalo team and not be in on all the guys on the offense. The only thing that's going to stop the Buffalo Bills from moving up, at least over the next season or two, is going to be a catastrophic injury, which we hope we don't see that. But I feel like this offense is just going to roll. They didn't even have Gabriel Davis yesterday.
They did not.
And they didn't miss a beat. So anybody on Buffalo that's going to be catching passes from Josh Allen, specifically in the red zone, I'm in on.
So that would be one Dawson Knox, but staying on this game and staying with this offense, my God, Stefan Diggs is incredible. The dude has a career night. I may or may not have played against him in fantasy. Thought I had it locked up, and there he has this game. But I did not. I should have invested a little bit of mojo in him because of the fact that he balled out last night. Last night, 12 catches, 148 yards, 3 touchdowns, up 7%, 7.39 to be specific, or at least last night at 6.87, but 7.39. He was up quick.
Yeah.
Quick.
Stefan Diggs could carve a route, boy.
Dude.
One of the best route runners in the league.
And I used to say that was Amari Cooper, but I think this guy just took over.
When we're splitting hairs at the top of the game here. These guys are all doing things well, but Stefan Diggs, Amari Cooper, what he does well is he disguises everything. He just stops on a dime, and he's so agile, as well as the deception. But I can't believe that Stefan Diggs, I don't have him in my portfolio yet. It's very alarming to me because I was all in on him, and I had a card break yesterday, and I skipped it, and I missed the beat, and I was all in on the multiplier and everything. So that's me dropping the ball, but don't be like me, guys. Stefan Diggs.
Get in on him now.
I look at the
That's
receiver's
a decent
career
price,
the
man.
receiver career projections. It's a decent price, but if you're looking at quarterbacks, which is what we've typically talked about over the last 2 shows, receivers don't get that high. So that's a pretty high price for a wide receiver. He has banked in his career $13.88, and he's in his 8th season, averaging about $2 per season. So if you look at it, his trajectory projects a little bit similar over the next 4 years. So proof is in the pudding. His situation is not going to change. His production is clearly not changing. So I feel like that's a safe buy right now on a Stefan Diggs.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely, because as long as Josh Allen's under center, there's not going to be any drop-off in production like you just said. So as long as that's the QB1 over there in Buffalo. And you know what's funny? The Bills are doing this again without a running game. It's like insane to me. Like there's little sprinkles of Moss and maybe Singletary and then the new Cook's kid, brother.
James Cook.
Yeah. And I'm like, it just, for me, it just doesn't.
Though,
and Josh Allen you have to consider as a rusher,
yesterday, though,
too.
they were running the ball at a decent clip in the first half, and it got everything opened up for the offense.
But I'm just saying, when you look at the Buffalo Bills, you're not thinking, oh, they got a hell of a run game. You know what I mean? Like, it's Josh Allen and it's Diggs and it's that receiving. Like, it's an air raid. It's an absolute air raid.
It is. And the passing game in this rare case is what opens it up for the running game.
Yeah.
And the fact that they don't really have one set guy, I think everybody has that idea that they don't have a great running game. But if you look over the course of the league, around the league the last couple seasons, like the San Francisco 49ers, the Ravens, they don't have that one guy either, but they're always at the top of the league in rushing attempts and rushing yards. So maybe that could be the Buffalo this season with Josh Allen and then the glut of backs that they got.
Yeah. So, again, right now, if you want to invest your money, and a safe bet would absolutely be Stefan Diggs. Now, something I did do last night, okay, right before the game, right? Obviously, I'm reeling a little bit because of my Trey Lance situation, right? And I'm like, all right, well, what am I going to do to make up for this? How can I make up for this? Mojo was out there giving away just multipliers for everybody, right? Just everybody. I went out there and I got excited. I said, you know what? I got a feeling about Jalen Hurts. And it's not a feeling. It's just like I've been sitting there saying, I've actually went on record and saying, I don't think this guy's any good. Like, I don't think he's going to be able to throw the ball. I don't think he's going to be able to lead an offense. Well, after last night's game, after what he did last night, which just incredible stats, he actually matched. Did you see that weird stat about Michael Vick? Like the same, like he threw for 333 and 3 touchdowns or something like that. On
I
the
didn't
same,
see that. There was
same
an
situation.
infographic that
Yeah,
came
it was
up.
on ESPN on the broadcast. But so Jalen Hurts goes nuts. I sprinkled a little money into my Mojo Market account, and I said, give me all the multipliers you got to offer on this guy, and he shoots up dramatically, especially if you invested heavy into him, 9% up. Like the guy, he seems to be what the Eagles have been missing since, like, I want to say McNabb, and I can't say Wentz, and I can't say Foles, because Foles had his magical run. Congratulations to Foles, and I'm sure, again, Sporty Jordy will be like, I can't believe you can't downplay Foles. You can't downplay Foles. He's not that good. But I will say that there hasn't been a consistent quarterback in Philadelphia since Donovan McNabb, and before that was Randall. So it's like, it's just, for me, Hurts is the guy. It's a scary situation if you're a fan of the New York Giants, the Dallas Cowboys, or the Washington Commanders, because this dude, if he keeps going the trajectory that they say, the spike up there on the chart is literally when he was balling out, and then all right, then they coast the rest of the game, so he's where he's at. I look at Jalen Hurts now, man, as one of the future quarterbacks of this league.
Jalen Hurts isn't the best passer. Across the board, his metrics aren't the best throwing the football, but it's a new day in the NFL, and it's all about the running quarterback. kind of. So Jalen Hurts, he's again, a situation like Kirk Cousins, a very sum of all parts. They have a really good offense, Devonta Smith, A.J. Brown. The running backs aren't really too much to write home about, but they have a decent group back there. So I believe in their running backs, but defensively, that team is really good. Offensive line, one of the best in the league. So Jalen Hurts is going to succeed. The team is going to be a playoff team this year, I believe, and potentially over the next couple seasons. So they're going to kick the tires on Jalen Hurts at least 2 or 3 more years. He's only in year 3, but the data scientists over at Mojo, it doesn't look like the future projections play out well long term for him, and that's probably because of the style of play and his passing metrics. Eventually, you can't run as fast as you could when you're in your 3rd year, and things
They kept showing him a video of him in high school or freshman year college. I forget. He was real young, squatting 500 pounds, and Troy Aikman was like Joe Buck on the broadcast was like, "Wow, can you believe that?" And Troy Aikman was like, "Why? Like, why are you squatting 500?" Now you know why, Troy, because this guy can run. He's a strong dude. Yes, he has to work on his mechanics a little bit, but last night, a couple of those passes, which we've seen this a lot this week, man. We've seen this a lot. Receivers are getting open, whether the corners are falling or just a missed assignment. Maybe the defenses need another week to kind of just like gel together. But man, oh man, there's a lot of guys running free. And last night, Hurts took full advantage of that. Well, he almost could have thrown a couple of these things blindfolded. That's how open they were.
Looking at the game going into yesterday, I knew that the Vikings would struggle against the run. They played really good, and it was a positive game script in terms of Vikings defense should be able to at least stifle the run a little bit against the Packers. They weren't able to. The Packers were, while down and trailing in that game, they were able to get things going mostly on the ground against the Vikings. Jalen Hurts and the Eagles took advantage of that, and it opened everything up.
Yeah.
And then there was Kirk Cousins.
I mean, we don't have to talk about him anymore because it's just a tragic situation. In fact, today we don't have a lot of down guys. Like the guy, like obviously you see the scroll on our market report that some guys are in fact down. Irv Smith Jr. didn't perform. Why? We just talked about it. Kirk Cousins couldn't play. Shakir, another guy who tried to fill it, nothing. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of guys that fall just because of just lack of opportunity. And Kirk Cousins and company, and especially the Tennessee Titans as well, they didn't give much of their offense an opportunity to flourish. So there was a little bit of flash of Traylon Burks. I don't know if any.
I did see a little bit.
I saw a little bit of that.
Positive sign. Hopefully he's over his asthma issue.
Yeah. Well, listen, it must have. You're air quoting asthma. All right. Well, listen. Whether it be true or not, he's showing a little flash. So, all right, we're talking about Jalen Hurts, and yesterday we talked quarterbacks because we wanted to compare a couple of the quarterbacks that, we were talking about earlier in the show. But now, Madden, are you a Madden guy? Or used to be at least?
I used to be a Madden guy.
All right, I used to be a heavy Madden guy. There used to be a thing, and there still is a thing, because now they're doing like releases of ratings shows and stuff. They found a way to just captivate everybody. But what they do usually get excited about is the 99 Club, right? Well, as soon as you get the 99 Club, you get the golden cleats, you get all this stuff, you get something delivered to your house. Like it's insane. I'm not sure what Mojo plans to do, but there is a specific club out there that we have to talk about, and that's the 100 Club. The 100 Club is an exclusive membership right now because there's only 4 guys on Mojo with $100 value or more. You can see him on your screen right now. The top dog, Tom Brady. Everybody knows why Tom Brady's up there. Guy's won 15,000 Super Bowls at this point. So that's why Tom Brady is chilling as the top dog, right? He's banked so much Mojo value. So if you want to get in on him now, that's when the multipliers come into play. You want to, for every little thing he does going forward, you want it to be a big thing. So that's why the multipliers are so effective. And obviously Patrick Mahomes, another one, just out of this world good. He's projected to just do a million amazing things because he's just that good. He's just effortless at throwing the football. Aaron Rodgers, your boy, is out there as the $114.41. I know, let's not talk too much on the numbers, but that's a guy that doesn't have a floor right now. He's not going to – we've seen it time and time again, year after year. The guy doesn't throw picks. He doesn't have bad games. He just doesn't. I mean, like, bad games to him are like a touchdown and like 175 yards. That's a bad game. He never throws like more than...
That is a bad game.
It's a bad game,
it's a
right?
Bad game.
So then you got Matt Ryan, okay? He fell a little bit over the week because of the fact that the Colts are just playing like doo-doo. But it's $106 to get in on Matt Ryan.
Interesting that Matt Ryan's the only guy without a Super Bowl ring.
And you would think that's like almost the
100 club.
criteria, but it doesn't seem to be because this, Matt Ryan has climbed the ranks as far as overall stats for his entire career. You know what I mean? Like he's done wonders, right?
He does have a league MVP.
He does have a league MVP. So like you're looking at these 4 guys. Those are the almost like the I hate when sports shows do this, but they're the Mount Rushmore of Mojo.
Oh goodness,
they are. I mean, there's 4 faces. Those are your guys. Like those are the guys right there. Bing, 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 bing. They're all there. They're on the 100 Club. Now, my question is this: just last week, Gooch, Mount Rushmore was a little bigger. Just last week, guys like Russell Wilson and Matt Stafford were there. They were in the 100 Club. So now, what I'm thinking is, are they just going to kind of hover based off performance every week?
No, they'll be back.
Russ Wilson
They'll be
and
back.
Matt Stafford
They'll be
back. Now,
Yeah,
look, both of those guys, again, Super Bowl champions. That helps them dramatically when it comes to multipliers and stuff like that, like all the bonuses that you get for winning the title. So maybe that's why Stafford and Russell Wilson will continue to be and float
There's
around.
no
the
doubt
100
in my mind that both of these guys at season's end, barring catastrophic injury, and that's going to be my word of the day,
Yeah, seriously.
catastrophic.
You're just
barring
crushing people.
catastrophic injury, both of these guys will be in the 100 Club potentially next week, potentially 2 weeks from now.
And like I said, like Matt Stafford was 103 on Saturday. So like Saturday happens, the game happens, and he actually goes down. Because look, as much as he's
Maybe
doing,
not Russ though. Maybe it might be a tough season.
did you
in Denver
hear?
for
And I'm
Russ.
not going to name the actual company that did this, but there is a specific gambling company out there that you can play. Futures, right? Futures, like, whenever you put money down to win MVP, there's a specific gambling company out there right now that is giving you a free bet and your money back if you put any money on Russ Wilson to win the MVP. They're giving you they're like, we're so sorry. This guy's not going to do it. Like, it's not the year for him. He might be cooked. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if you can predict this over time. We're all going to be sitting here eating our words in 3 weeks.
Short him.
There you go.
If that's what I was going to do, I'm just going to short him. I don't believe in Nathaniel Hackett, but no, I'm not going to short Russ. They invested in him in the offseason. Same thing with Stafford. He signed an extension, I believe, but going into last year, right, in the offseason before the Super Bowl. So both these guys, the team's invested in them. Stafford, the elbow is a little concerning. He's got a back issue that's concerning. Russell Wilson, he's just like is oblivious to the fact of what's going on with social media. The guy just doesn't care. He's going to come out there and he's gonna go through his walkthrough and he's even gonna do the high fives, right? So that's how cringe Russ is, and he does not care.
Have you seen that?
I did.
One of the greatest videos I've watched.
It is one of the best videos
He basically
ever.
just says, like, he mocks his high
these
fives.
Two are,
like,
it's a foregone conclusion. If you look at what they've done over their career, if you look at the future projections, you look at the teams that are invested in them, you look at the parts around them. I am a little bit cold on Russ right now, but the reality is he has some decent pieces around him, and it might just take a little bit for Hackett to get going. Hopefully he can get going for Russell Wilson investors. But yeah, both these guys are a guarantee. There's 2 more guys that I think are almost a guarantee, and then there's few more guys after that.
So we'll start with the guys that you see on your screen right now. A guy we just talked about in Josh Allen, right? Josh Allen right now is sitting there at I believe 84. Last time I checked, 84.93, right? So he's a ways away, right? Unless you absolutely destroy the world in the game of football, you won't be seeing it this year. However, you look at a guy like Justin Herbert, who's right now projected to hover around just under where Brady is now, right? So when you look at Justin Herbert and Josh Allen, do you see these guys on similar paths to the 100 Club or similar paths to at least career-long success?
I'm actually surprised when I look at it that Herbert is a little bit higher in share price than a Josh Allen because Justin
by
Herbert,
like $1.
Justin Herbert hasn't made the postseason. I believe Josh Allen was even a higher pick than him. But then I looked at the numbers. The early numbers for Justin Herbert are phenomenal.
Yeah.
And they project way better. So year 6, Justin Herbert, is that guy, what's he going to be like? Like, I mean, are we kidding me? The pieces around him, the coach that everybody seems to be really high on the head coach. I need to see more out of him. But the fact is, he's an aggressive head coach, and it's a good situation for a young quarterback because he does know the game of football, if you listen to his interviews at least. Maybe not on 4th and 1. Ever.
It's just
But yeah, Justin Herbert's a stud. Josh Allen's a stud. I just feel like Josh Allen has done a little bit more, and he's played a little bit more in the league, so I'm surprised at that, but it's obvious to me. Justin Herbert, I'm all in on. He's my number one, numero uno, because if the future projections are anything like close to Brady, you can't anticipate him playing for 20 seasons.
I gotta ask you though, as you like, the projections are great, and that's something you definitely want to pay attention to on the Mojo app because it actually shows you exactly what you're looking at. But we talked about the 4 guys that are up there right now. 3 out of the 4 guys have won a Super Bowl. To get to that upper echelon into the 100 club, it seems like you got to win a Super Bowl. Are you saying that Justin Herbert has a chance to win a Super Bowl in his career?
I mean, of course, Justin Herbert has a chance.
All right.
He's in his 3rd year.
I guess when you're looking at Rodgers, he only won 1 too. So
it looks like they're projecting him to maybe win multiple Super Bowls in his career. That's how good he could possibly be. The future projections are at 69-65. He's already banked 1633, and he's only played about 18 games in his NFL career.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts. It's like $1 a game. It's like almost, like it's so his numbers might get stupid and silly. You know what I mean? Like they might get way, way higher than we
Zero
even expected.
playoff success as of yet. I think that'll change this season. So yeah, Herbert definitely, and Josh Allen definitely. Josh Allen's probably going to win the MVP this year. So
you got a couple guys though that are like a little bit of a
There's
deeper
a little
dive.
bit more of a question mark surrounding some of the guys that I'm going to talk about now. I feel like everyone we just spoke about, they're going to be in the 100 club, no doubt about it. There's some more guys, and I feel Burrow is the leading candidate out of the guys I'm going to talk about to get there. He does have a catastrophic knee injury under his belt. And
if you have the over on catastrophic, you've just slapped, by the way.
Slapped the over on catastrophic. He did have a serious knee injury, but then he made his way all the way back to the Super Bowl and lost in year 2. So,
but how about this start for him?
The offensive line is a little concerning.
When they addressed it. Like that's the concerning part.
But then you look at the receivers, young receivers, and T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. I don't know if they're going to be able to keep those two together for long term because they're both really, really good and they're both going to demand a big dollar amount. But Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow together, I like that career arc going forward. These guys, they played together in college. They plan on probably playing together all the way through the NFL.
Yeah.
They made it all the way to the Super Bowl last year, and if Joe Burrow would have just looked up, he would have probably hit Jamar Chase on a game winner, and then we would be having a whole different conversation. They would be a Super Bowl champion. Are you really out on Joe Burrow?
I'm not out on Joe Burrow at all.
Nobody is. Joe Burrow, I think he gets there. That's my prediction.
Okay. You think he gets to the 100 club?
I think eventually he gets to the 100 club.
Okay. Exclusive club. What else? Who else you got?
That injury, though, in year 1 in that offensive line is a little bit scary. Another guy, Derek Carr.
Oof. Yeah?
Yeah, Derek Carr. Look, he's already got, he's at 74-65. He's banked 47-48 in his career, and he's averaged like $6 a season.
So basically, he has to play 5 more seasons.
5 more seasons at the rate that he's done. And I feel like he's about to put up the best offensive numbers of his career. If you look at NFL quarterbacks, they play a really long time these days. You're not allowed to touch them. So there's year 20 is possible for a guy like Carr. Maybe not 20, but year 17, year 18. And they just signed his boy to a big deal long term. Do you really think that they brought in Devontae Adams as per Derek Carr, and then a year later they're like, you know what, Derek, we don't believe in you anymore?
No, that's
Derek Carr and
that's a
Devontae
forever
Adams are there to
friendship
stay
and a
for a little
forever
bit.
teammates.
And that offense is really good. They're going to put up decent numbers going forward. I'm in on Derek Carr getting to the 100 club.
Interesting. That one's interesting. How about Dak?
I hate to break it to you, buddy.
Don't do it.
The injuries are just a little bit too much for me and for the data scientists over at Mojo because they don't he doesn't project there either.
So how about Dak? It's going to get there or not?
So story of the weekend, Kyler Murray in his 38-year scramble that he went 85 yards.
Did you see him get punched in the face by the fan?
That's a stretch. Punched in the face is a stretch.
It looked like somebody took a swing.
He was touched in his face.
The police are
calling it a
investigating.
punch.
We don't have any information.
What happens
on
in Vegas does not stay in Vegas if you do it on the football field.
No.
But Kyler Murray, $61.59 current price. He's banked $20.60.
Has he really?
And his average is $7 roughly, so $6.87. Future projections go for about $53.21.
On top of where he's at right now?
On top of where he's at right now. So if you do the math, he adds up, as far as Mojo goes, that he will eventually be in the $100 club. I don't buy it.
No,
I don't buy it.
That's not one I can. You want to talk about style of play? We talk about Lamar Jackson all the time with the way he played. Kyler Murray is he's going to run out of gas. I'm not talking about getting smoked and hurt. I'm talking about getting gas, bro. Like, he's just got to be tired.
Kyler Murray is a super athlete that I think that the The conditioning isn't an issue. He doesn't get hit much. For a guy that's small, he's just really hard to get your hands on him. So he's avoided major injury. You like how I skipped over it?
You did.
He's
but everybody
avoided
already hit
major
their
injury
bet.
up to this point in his career. But in the NFL, the nature of the sport, that could happen in any moment. I'm not saying that I think Kyler's going to get hurt, but he is a smaller guy. And sum of all parts, I just feel like that's not a good equation going forward. They did just invest heavily in him. So while I think Kyler Murray will have a good career in the NFL, I just don't know about him getting into like year 12, year 13.
As long as.
Which is what he's going to need to get to the $100
As
club.
long as he studies. That'll be that. So,
Put down the sticks, Kyler.
But yeah, please, no more Call of Duty, more Madden-ski, at least learn a playbook. All right, guys, listen, this has been another show. I gotta say, I bring this up tomorrow. This is gonna be one of your favorite. I feel like Wednesdays will be your favorite because it's like more of a deep dive. Like clearly Sundays into Mondays we got the games, and Mondays into Tuesdays we got the games, and Thursdays into Fridays we got the games. But like when you get a deep dive in Mojo, and I went hard last night into this app, and it's a fantastic app. It's so easy to use. It's crisp. It's clean. Everybody's saying good things about
Are we going to
it.
the bargain basement tomorrow?
We are going bargain basement tomorrow.
We're going deep diving.
Can I tell you my portfolio? Just say thumbs up, thumbs down. Right now. I have money in 6 guys. That's my portfolio.
Okay.
Ready? Here we go. Trey Lance. Don't worry about that. He's still there. I sold most. George Pickens, Jalen Hurts, Kenny Pickett, Jake Ferguson, tight end for the Cowboys.
Terrible.
Dalton Schultz might miss some time, so multiplies. And Tyler Algier. Those are the guys I got invested in right now. Clearly, there's a million more guys I want to look into, but that's kind of where I'm at.
So you want me to do a thumbs up?
Just
or
a thumbs up
down
just for the total
on the
portfolio.
Entire portfolio.
Grade my portfolio. All right. So I'll work on that. And you can work on that too by tuning in every day here on the Mojo YouTube channel. Thank you guys for Dave Sturchio, Chris Gueci from Chop Studios. We'll see you guys tomorrow morning on the Mojo Market Report.